Once upon a time, nestled deep within a lush, ancient forest, there was a small, charming village. In this village lived a kind-hearted young woman named Belle. She wasn't like the other villagers. While they were busy with their daily chores, Belle's nose was always buried in a book, her mind wandering to faraway lands and grand adventures. Everyone knew her for her striking beauty hair as dark as a starless night, and eyes as deep and mysterious as the ocean, but it was her warm heart and free spirit that truly defined her. Belle lived with her dear father Maurice, a wonderfully eccentric inventor. His workshop was a magical place filled with peculiar gadgets and fascinating gizmos. Belle adored spending time with him, listening to his imaginative stories and lending a hand with his latest creations. The other villagers often whispered that Belle was odd. With her love for books and her dreams of a life beyond their quiet provincial town, but Belle, secure in her own world, paid them no mind. One crisp autumn day, Maurice packed up his newest invention, a clever wood-chopping machine, and set off for a fair in a neighboring village, hoping to win a prize. He kissed Belle goodbye, promising to return soon. But as evening fell, the path grew unfamiliar, and he found himself lost in the darkest, spookiest part of the forest. The wind howled like a mournful wolf, and the gnarled trees seemed to whisper chilling secrets. Shivering and desperate for shelter, Maurice stumbled upon a massive, imposing castle, its towers piercing the stormy sky. Hoping to find a kind soul inside, he cautiously pushed open the heavy gates. The castle was dark and eerie, but a fire was lit in the hearth. As he warmed his hands, a monstrous figure emerged from the shadows. It was the master of the casella, terrifying beast. Unbeknownst to Maurice, the beast was once a handsome prince, cursed by an enchantress for his selfish and cruel heart. The spell could only be broken if he could learn to love another and earn their love in return before the last petal fell from an enchanted rose. Enraged by the intrusion, the beast accused Maurice of trespassing and dragged him down to a cold, damp dungeon. Back in the village, Maurice's loyal horse, Felipe, sensed the danger and galloped home alone. When Belle saw Felipe return without her father, her heart filled with dread. Without a moment's hesitation, she urged Felipe to take her back to where he'd left Maurice. The brave horse led her through the menacing woods, right to the gates of the gloomy castle. Belle ventured inside, her heart pounding in her chest. Her calls for her father echoed through the vast, empty halls. Finally, she found him shivering and weak, locked in a dungeon cell. Just as she was about to help him, the beast appeared. Belle gasped, but stood her ground. Seeing her father's poor state, she made a selfless, courageous offer. She would take her father's place as the beast's prisoner for all time. The beast, surprised by her bravery, agreed. He released Maurice, who tearfully protested and slammed the dungeon door shut on Belle. Life in the castle was lonely at first. Belle was given a beautiful room, but she was still a prisoner. The enchanted objects of the Casilla charming candelabra named Lumiere, a stuffy but kind clock named Cogsworth, and a motherly teapot named Mrs. Potstride to make her feel welcome. They served her a spectacular dinner and told her stories of their former lives as humans, all under the same curse as their master. One day, Belle wandered into the West Wing, a forbidden part of the castle. There, she found the enchanted rose, its petals slowly wilting under a glass dome. The beast discovered her and flew into a terrible rage, frightening her so much that she fled the castle. But in the snowy woods, she was attacked by a pack of vicious wolves. Just as they were about to pounce, the beast leaped to her rescue, fighting them off but getting badly injured in the process. Belle, seeing his selfless act, couldn't leave him to perish. She helped him back to the castle and gently tended to his wounds. This moment was a turning point. They began to see each other in a new light. The beast, wanting to make her happy, showed her his magnificent library room filled with more books than she could ever imagine. Her joy was a sight to behold. They spent their days together, reading, talking, and even having a snowball fight in the garden. Belle saw past the beast's fearsome exterior and discovered the kind, gentle heart hidden within. The beast, in turn, found himself falling for her intelligence, her spirit, and her kindness. He started to hope that the curse could finally be broken. He even arranged a beautiful evening for her, where they shared a magical dance in the grand ballroom. Meanwhile, back in the village, a vain and arrogant hunter named Gaston was determined to marry Belle. He couldn't stand that she had rejected him. When Maurice returned, rambling about a monstrous beast, Gaston saw his chance. He devised a cruel plan to have Maurice locked away in an asylum unless Belle agreed to marry him. The beast, seeing Belle's sadness and her worry for her father, made a heartbreaking decision. He let her go, even though it meant he might remain a beast forever. He gave her a magic mirror so she could see him whenever she wished. Belle rushed back to the village and used the mirror to prove to the villagers that her father wasn't crazy and that the beast was real. Blinded by jealousy, Gaston whipped the villagers into a frenzy, convincing them that the beast was a monster who needed to be destroyed. They stormed the castle, pitchforks and torches in hand. A huge battle erupted between the villagers and the enchanted objects. Gaston hunted down the beast on the castle rooftops. The beast, heartbroken by Belle's departure, had lost the will to fight. But then he saw Belle returning to him. His strength and spirit renewed. He fought back against Gaston. In the end, the beast spared Gaston's life, but Gaston, treacherous to the end, stabbed the beast in the back before losing his footing and falling from the castle to his doom. Belle rushed to the beast's side as he lay dying. The last petal on the enchanted rose fell. With tears streaming down her face, Belle confessed that she loved him. As her words hung in the air, a magical transformation began. The beast was lifted into the air, surrounded by a shower of golden light. He was healed, and the beastly form melted away, revealing the handsome prince he once was. The curse was broken. The enchanted objects were transformed back into their human forms, and the castle was restored to its former glory. Belle and the prince, truly in love, were married in a grand ceremony, celebrating with all their friends and family. The villagers finally understood that Belle's love for books and her open heart were not oddities, but her greatest strengths. Belle had found her adventure, and the prince had learned that true beauty is found within. They ruled their kingdom with kindness and compassion, living happily ever after. Thank you so much for joining us for this timeless tale. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more magical adventures. We love sharing these stories with you. See you next time.